Today I want to talk to you guys about turning a negative into a positive. Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. Today I want to talk to you about what happens when your guitar project doesn't go quite as well as this Challenger did. Sometimes things happen and you just got to say, well, that's just the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes it's painful, it stings, but sometimes if you know the end result isn't going to turn out as good as this, it's better to just cut the guitar in half. I hate doing it, but every so often we get a batch of stuff that we just have to do. But before I get started cutting guitars in half, I want to take a moment to urge you guys to hit that thumbs up, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost anything. If you appreciate content like I do, you might want to join up on YouTube. That costs like $1 a month. Or you can sign up on Patreon. Links in the description below to do all that stuff. Guys, even $1 a month goes a long way to helping us bring you guys cool stuff like this, because I don't work for nothing and neither should you. So anyway, thank you to all of the very, very super cool people who are signed up on YouTube and Patreon. Without the continued support of those elite people some of those guys have been with me for as long as the channel's been around. And I love you. You're super, super awesome. You guys could be one of those people too. So anyway, sign up on Patreon, sign up on YouTube. Even $1 a month goes a long way to help me bring you guys neat stuff like this. Keeping the lights on, keeping the heat going, etc., etc. All right, enough with the bullshit talk. Let's see what happens when sometimes things don't go your way. All right, anyone who's ever been to my shop has seen this guitar, because when I broke it in half and sawed it in half, I decided I wanted to immortalize it as a piece of wall art and remind me what not to do. By the way, thanks to Devin for providing me with this awesome Coors Light poster. Anyway, so this was one of the Texas Toast prostitutes, one of the very first ones that I was working on. And it just kind of got away from me. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't like about it. And this guitar told me from, the very first second that I had some errors. I thought I'll just fix them. And this guitar kept telling me, no, don't fix me. Let me die in peace. And I wish I would have taken that to heart, because I didn't let the guitar die in peace. I busted it all up and then I cut it into, well, you can see all the different places that I cut it. And this poor thing has deserved a spot on the wall, and so there she is, to remind me that sometimes stuff doesn't go the way I want it to go. So I've got 3 fairly painful examples of guitars that just didn't go right, and I want to show you what I had to do with them, because one thing I will not do now or ever is let a guitar out of the shop that I don't feel comfortable with, or if I know you're not going to be happy with the guitar, I'm not going to let it out of the shop, and I don't want anybody to get a hold of it. I want to just I want it to just go away. But a couple of things that we can talk about is some various construction techniques and how thin our finish is, because unfortunately all 3 of the guitars that I'm about to show you were ready for assembly. And well, let's just go ahead and take a look at them right now. One thing I want to make very clear, none of these guitars have ever been shipped out to a customer. In one case, one of the guitars was for a customer, and that's J Van B, and I was sick when we had to cut it up because it had a really cool metal flake finish. I contacted him and I'm like, hey man, your guitar got all dorked up. I can either start making you a new guitar, which I had already done, or I can give you a guitar that's ready to go now, even if it's worth more than the one that we're building. He very awesomely said, nope, I totally get it. I would rather have the right guitar that I know I'm going to be happy with, rather than something that I wasn't going to like, and that's the one I want. So we're gonna build him a new guitar, and I'm going to push it forward. Fortunately, his is a Challenger, and as you guys may know, I try to do Challenger stuff faster than anything else because that's the guitar that I love the most. That's the guitar that I push the most, and well, you guys get it. I still do like Flying V's and shit like that, but if you want one of those, it's going to take a little longer. If you want a Challenger, I try to bing, bang, boom those things and get them out the door. But like I said, I will sell no wine before it's time. I'm not going to let a guitar out of the shop if I don't feel good about it because I want you to like the guitar you get. All right, here we go. Let's have a look at these things. So anyway, here are the guitars in question, and they all have the same problem. A little bit of a twist in the necks. And so what I did was I cut them up, and what I don't want to do, you guys, is have any guitars leave the shop that don't meet the specs. You know what I mean? And it's a bummer because they were all, as you can see, they were all ready to assemble. They were all ready to go. And, sometimes in these cases here, these guitars just, this wood didn't want to be guitars. So this is one of our TV yellow ones. This is a daily driver that's basically got a Challenger neck. And this is, J Van B, I'm sorry that we had to do this, but I think you're going to like your guitar once we make it again. This one in purple metal flake with the burst on the back. And J Van said that he wanted it black on the back next time. So it actually kind of worked out a little bit. But what I wanted to show you guys was, one thing. This fretboard is black poison wood. This is ebony, and this is rosewood on a mahogany neck, maple neck, mahogany neck. So, stuff can just go a little bit crazy even if you do everything else right. And it doesn't necessarily matter what the wood is, but these were guitars that kind of sat around for a little bit and we're getting in various stages of completion, and the neck's twisted. And we like to let everything sit around for a while because if this sort of thing happens, we don't want to send it out. But we can learn a little bit about our guitars by doing an autopsy on these three. Let's check out a couple of things that I want to show you guys. Specifically on this Challenger here, you will notice that this one is in fact hollow all the way through. There's the cutaway portion, and yeah, you can see it's hollow all the way down to there. You can see inside our guitars are all the way hollow, all the way down. And so that's a pretty cool thing. But the other thing that I thought, this would be a good opportunity to show you guys is just how thin our finishes are. Now we use a urethane top coat with a standard automotive base coat, but look how thin the finish is. You really can't see it. Okay, if you've ever seen like a import guitar and the finish is super thick, look how thin the finish is on that. Okay, this is our 73 finish. I mean, look at that. You cannot see. It's like it's thinner than a piece of paper. It looks like to me. Here's another one on ash. You can dig how thin the finish is. So that's a pretty cool deal. Even on this one here, you can start to see the finish because this is metal flake, which is by design. It's got it's got big chunks of glitter in it, and you can see the finish is kind of, you can start to see it there. But look how thin the back finish is. You can see that it's there, but man, that finish is really, really thin. And that's that is definitely a cool thing. Man, I tell you, it was a pain in the butt. It was a bummer to cut these guitars up because, like I say, they didn't want to be guitars. But I thought maybe show you guys some of this stuff, show you guys a little bit about what goes on the inside of the guitar. Here's another thing that you can check out. You'll notice that our maple binding is actually part of the top. So that's how we do the maple binding. And we didn't come up with this. You know, Paul Reed Smith has been doing this since the 80s. So that's a cool thing. You will notice too that the maple is pretty thick. It's a nice 1/4 inch thick piece of maple on a hollow mahogany there. So it's got, you can actually feel these guitars actually resonate against your body when you're playing them. So the necks all have maple binding on the necks. Unfortunately, these 3 necks they did not want to be guitars, and that's a pain. You know, we make a lot of guitars, and sometimes you got to let stuff sit around for a little bit. And I guess maybe what probably happened was this wood didn't stabilize enough, and thank God we caught it before we sent this out to J Van B, or thank God we caught it before somebody bought this one, or thank God we caught it before somebody bought this one. Fortunately, these guitars were all, with the exception of the purple metal flake one, they were just all at large. They were all going to be for sale. You know, and we like I said, we did an autopsy on these. We pulled the binding, we cut them down, we pulled frets, and just to see if we could figure out what was going on. And the only thing I can come up with was, or would just on these 3, just wasn't quite as stable as it needed to be, and it decided that either the fretboard or the neck decided that it wanted to go crazy. And again, 2 mahogany necks, 1 maple neck, and a black poison wood, an ebony, and a rosewood. It wasn't like they were all from the same, the same batch of stuff. Sometimes it just happens, and that's the way it goes. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this look literally inside one of our Challenger guitars, actually 2 Challengers and a daily driver. And thank you for watching. Thank you for your continued support. Remember, here at Texas Toast Guitars, we will not let a guitar out of the shop unless we feel 100% about it. So that's the way that I have to do it for me, and that's the way that you guys would want me to do it too. So like I say, we will sell no wine before it's time. So until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, make your own guitar, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later.